Hello everybody and welcome back to the United Stand. It is the Fans Forum as Manchester United lose at Old Trafford to a 10-man Everton team. We are all very, very disappointed here in the studio and a few cross words have already been said, but we are here to discuss that with you guys, get everyone's opinions in, make it a therapy forum. I know a lot of people will be very, very frustrated right now. It is Monday Night Football, a lot of people work really hard, travel to come and watch this game, and what you've watched is a really, really terrible performance. But where do we go from here? We will get into it and hopefully you will leave the Fans Forum feeling a little bit better. It can be a little bit cathartic for you and it can be like therapy and we can all come together and make ourselves feel better about this performance. Look, losses happen in football, draws happen, games where you don't play very well happen. But I'll start with you, Maud. We are joined with Maud, Jordan and Ricky, by the way. Thank you guys for joining us. I'll start with you. Is it ever acceptable to lose in that way at Old Trafford?
Never. I don't think anyone in their right mind would say that's acceptable. That's an insane way of even putting it. I think before the game, most of us, I think maybe only Ricky was the only one who said that we might not win. I think it was a draw. But the majority of people who I spoke to, and obviously here at United Stand, predicted a win. And a lot of people were predicting a pretty comfortable win as well. And for us to go and lose in that manner against 10 men for the majority, I think they went down to 10 men in the 13th minute, so we were playing for literally the majority of the game against 10 men. And not at one point did it look like we had more players. There wasn't one point in that game I thought, Everton are struggling, Like Everton clearly have one less player. I was trying to find the missing piece in Everton's team. Yeah. I was trying to think, what position in Everton's team right now are they missing a player? Is it a midfielder? Is it a defender? Is it an attacker? Throughout that whole game, or throughout the whole time that they had 10 men, they looked like they even had more players than us. We looked like we were the man down. And that's just appalling. Like, we're going to get into the manager and certain players, but in general, you should never be playing against 10 men at home and it looks like you're the one with the player down. That's a horrible performance.
Yeah, and it felt like it was a domino effect. People will pick out different players, but it's hard to even point out a player that played well today. You can maybe point out one or two that played half decent, but it was a domino effect. The whole team was infected by this. It felt like international break happened. The performances before the international break weren't great, let's be honest. But it felt like the international break happened. When both teams had 11 men, they were still better than us, but we got handed on a plate an opportunity to go and put in a dominant performance and secure a place in the top four. And I know it's early days, but it was a really good opportunity, especially after some big teams, losing some points this season. And we looked like we didn't know how to play football. It was absolutely appalling, from the manager to the 11 that were on the pitch, and then the players that came on didn't really have much of an impact either. But Jordan, what do you think it is? Well, first of all, you're one of the people that's come up and travelled. Everyone who is watching this game is going to be frustrated. Yeah. But I am really, really frustrated personally with the people that have to travel all this way to come and support their team and pay a lot of money. Yeah. And that's what you see. Slow, lethargic, towards the end look like we've given up, honestly. Yeah. And how do you feel, and why do you think it's happened?
Yeah, it's one step forward, two back, isn't it? And it's during the international break, I was the one that I posted the next 10 fixtures into our WhatsApp group. I was like, come on in, guys, how many points? And you start looking at the fixture, that's a win, that's a win, that's a win. And I think majority of us were like, Everton at home, we'll beat those. And suddenly, after that game, look at the next 9 fixtures and go, oh God, it could be more of the same. Mm-hmm. And it is the hope that kills you. I honestly thought after the international break, we'd come back like we did against Liverpool last time round, of regrouped and pick up 3 points home at Old Trafford. And it just doesn't happen. And we continue and have done under manager after manager to struggle against a low block. I don't know what it is. And I was saying to the guys before we went live, there was a guy next to me, I don't know him, and Everton went down to 10 men, and he sort of laughed and went, they might as well just give us the 3 points now. And I said to him, it's probably the worst thing that could happen, because we struggle against the low block anyway. If they put the 9 players behind the ball, we're definitely going to struggle. And that's exactly what happened. And at no point, like Maud said, did it feel like they were a player down. They worked twice as hard as we did to make up for that deficit. And what they were Grealish, again, outstanding, was able to pick the ball up, run 20, 30 yards and take the pressure off of them. And at no point did we really threaten them. And to finish the game with that many defence-minded players on the pitch, again, for me, it's just criminal. Our decision-making during the game, poor. In-game management, poor. And it is a huge cocktail of all things that have gone wrong. And like Maud said, for me, it gives me that same feeling as Grimsby. It's just another low point. And the manager just really doesn't help himself.
I was about to say, I mean, we spoke a little bit off air, but I'll say it on air as well. For me, I feel worse now than I did after the Grimsby game. I honestly do. This is the most annoyed I have been in a very, very long time. Yeah. I think this is the most annoyed I've been since Amorim's been in charge, and we've lost 3-1. We've lost against City. We've lost games. We've lost games in a really bad fashion. But this one today, 1-0 against Everton at Old Trafford. Now, Everton are a good side. I'm not saying the walkovers, because they're not. They've got some good players, some players that are better than ours in certain positions. But 1-0 at Old Trafford on a Monday night, and not even a glimmer of hope throughout the game. We could have played till Christmas and we wouldn't have scored a goal. Yeah. No, nothing that affected the game in any way. Yeah. The lack of intensity, the lack of care. To me, the penny dropped today for me. That if a manager doesn't come out against Ruben Amorim, don't know what to do. If a manager doesn't come out and come at us, and we have space in behind, doesn't have a plan B. If a manager decides to sit back a little bit, and David Moyes did play pragmatic, and which is what you're going to do to try and get the win, no second option, and it's worrying for me because teams are going to play like that against us, and we can't deal with it. I'm just fuming. Grimsby, there was loads of individual errors. An in goal was a shocker. Today, the whole team was absolutely terrible, and the manager couldn't have any impact on the game whatsoever. Ricky, to you, sometimes you can kind of take off your angry side and look at it and maybe be a little bit more, what's the word that you would describe it? A little bit more calmer.
To start with.
Yeah, and look at both sides. I mean, are you really frustrated tonight? I mean, how are you feeling?
I am frustrated. I was impressed with our little run that we put together of 5 unbeaten, and people were sort of laughing at me when we went to, well, not laughing at me, but when we went to Spurs and before the game, I said I'd take a draw. I didn't expect us to be leading. I think we were leading with 6 minutes to go, weren't we? And it ended up in a draw. So obviously, when when there's only 6 minutes to go and you're leading, you wouldn't take the draw. You want to win it, but the away draw with a late goal at Forest, the away draw with a really late goal at Spurs, that was all right. That was all right, especially on the back of 3 wins and a nice little run building there with 5 wins, 5 games undefeated and climbing the league. And I've got to be honest. Coming into that game today, you asked us all for our predictions of the score, and I was the only one who put on there that we wouldn't win. I put 2-2, but I'll be dead honest. Deep down, I thought we would beat them. I just don't like. I just don't like predicting United to win, because you've got egg on your face when it doesn't come off. Deep down, I did think we would win tonight, even though I predicted a draw. And
even amongst us,
I was really expecting. To the bare minimum that we would, because even if we'd have drawn, we would now be. I mean, you'd have took that, wouldn't you? With a few minutes to go. That, yeah. Even if we'd have drawn, we'd now be sat here 6. We'd be 6 games undefeated, and I would be turning that, because you would still be moaning like mad. Drawing with Everton with 10 men, we would still be moaning like mad. And I'd be saying, let's look on the bright side, 6 games unbeaten now, do you know what I mean? But I can't even say that, and I'm distraught, to be honest.
Yeah, look,
I'm distraught.
Kind of going back onto what you said, Beth, about, and even Jordan, about how, the way we play isn't sustainable. We're not able to play a good way of football, a positive way of football, consecutive, what's the word, like on a consecutive basis, like game after game after game. Consistently. Like, we're not able to do that, and the thing is, looking at hindsight's a great thing, innit? Because in the moment, like Ricky said, we're all happy. When we're beating Liverpool, we're beating Brighton, everything's all positive. 5 games unbeaten. We're watching United strand, thinking, he's going to cut his hair. Like, everything's all nice. But looking back at hindsight, now that we've lost, like these results, they're not all confident results. We didn't beat all these teams very well. Liverpool, we struggled. Like you said, we just
Liverpool are rubbish.
Liverpool are rubbish, and we still struggle to beat them.
Yeah.
But the Forest game, the Spurs game, like we have. It's not been a comfortable 5 games unbeaten, and these kinds of things, they come to bite you back eventually.
Look at the Brighton game.
Look at the Brighton game.
3-2 at one point.
Exactly. We played well, and all of a sudden it was like, all of a sudden something's clicked, and we went back to the old. I say the old United, the United from the start of the season, whenever the Grimsby times, and we're back to that form. And look, the way I look at it, I've seen a stat here. I mean, I got it even. I think after the first goal or the red card, I got this stat, and it's. United's results before when we have more than 50% and lower than 50% possession. When we had 50% or more possession, which is 23 games, our points per game is 0.83. So we're more likely to get a draw or lose than we are to win. When we have under 50%, our points per game is 1.79. It's over double. We are more likely to win the game when we don't have control. And that's a terrible start.
How long's that going back, Mort? It sounds like there's quite a lot of fixtures in there.
That's this season.
You said 23 games there, didn't you?
Games played, 23, 5.
Oh, it's in all competitions.
Yeah.
Man, we've only played one League Cup game.
We've not.
No, it must go back a
Well, it
season
says
or two.
as of November 2025, innit? So I don't know how far back it's gone, but let's just say the last 23 games.
So it
whatever
must
is.
go back into last season. Now.
Yeah. So whatever it is, going back however far it is, I think there's probably a lot of, 23 games plus 14, so that's 37 games, that's 37
So
games.
it's going back into
last season. So we are
but still,
twice as likely, we were double the amount.
Much more likely to win when we're not in control of the game.
When we're not in control of the game. To me, that's a poor start, because that means our style of play doesn't reward us winning games.
Some managers, so I've heard plenty of managers say, we feel as though we are in control of the game when we haven't got the ball.
But
Because
the
it's
teams,
I bet David Moyes felt like that tonight.
Are the teams that are actually winning most games saying that though? Because if you look at the teams that are actually successful,
They keep the ball better.
They keep the ball better, and that's just a fact. I know people are going to say certain teams here and there might play counter-attacking football and it works for them, but they're not the teams that we want to be like.
It's mad, really.
We don't want to be like those teams. We want to be like
the
the teams that are
very,
winning.
very best teams all keep the ball better, but then with all the rest of the teams, they seem to do better when they haven't got the ball.
I think that's just it's common sense though. You want to be. People say like, City play long to Haaland and they're changing the way they play. No, they're not. They only do that like here and there. Reality is, for the most of the game, they're still
keep the
holding
ball,
possession. Same with Arsenal. Same with even Chelsea this season. And you can say the same for Liverpool at some points. They've been terrible now, but last season it was the exact same thing as well.
And it'd be so real. Today, it was like torture. Watching it break down.
Yeah.
Pass after pass after pass. Couldn't string more than 4 passes together.
Yeah.
It was torturous. I was genuinely, I couldn't believe they were playing with 10 men, because they swarmed us every time we had the ball.
They did.
Anywhere it was on the pitch, they had more players than us.
Yeah.
Nobody was coming to help out. The positional awareness was so poor. And then what annoyed me the most is we would be patient in the build-up, dilly-dallying about with it, with centre-backs that are just passing it between themselves. Nobody was there to break the lines. No, whenever there was good movement, like when Mount came on, he made good movement. When Mbuma made good movement, nobody could find him because they didn't find them because they just didn't have that pass in them. It felt like nobody trusted themselves to thread that pass through. And then when we did try a risky pass, it was the most awful pass or bad decision that I've genuinely seen. It was like, honestly, it felt like the players had just gone to bed and forgot how to play football. And I know we're not the best at keeping the ball, like you said, but today was really, really poor. And I just think to myself, I really don't know what it is. Is it pressure? Is it the fact that when you're down to 10 men, you feel like you should win the game, you have to win the game at Old Trafford, and then it gets to you? Or are the players just not good enough? Is it the way that we're set up with the 3 centre-backs? Is there not enough attacking players there when David Moyes is deciding to sit in? I couldn't work it out, but our passing, like you said there, was absolutely atrocious. And I actually saw a stat when I was in the game, and I'm trying to get it now because I really want to bring it in. But it was something like, in the past how many ever games, when we're losing at half time, we don't win. We either draw or lose. And is that a mentality thing? When you're already down in the first half, it gets into the players' heads that, I don't know what it is, because to have that stat go against you, it really does think, are you giving up on the game early? I don't know. We have had some good comeback wins, but just not convincing one bit.
I think, for me, Everton didn't do anything we didn't know they were going to do under Moyes. Like, that is a Moyes side. You expect that when he was at West Ham, when he was at Everton before. You know what to expect from his team and what he demands of his team. But I just want to talk about the team selection, and we discussed it in the countdown to kickoff, and I was saying, like, for me, I thought he would have started Ahmad at wing back. Our wing backs, I can't even say, I'm not stressed, I can't even say wing backs. Our wing backs are so pivotal to this system. And for me, Ahmad is probably the only player that we've got that can play that position correctly. That when you then take him out and put him into a 10, when we've got other players that potentially could have played in a 10, it just leaves us so exposed. Like, you've got Dorgu played like he'd been Winter Wonderland and forgot to take his ice skates off. He couldn't stay on his feet. Like, every opportunity, he just ended up eating turf. Mazraoui, for me, it just doesn't work there for me as a right wing back, as a wing back. It's an area we have to address. Like, it's such a specialist position, and to just throw players in there and go, that's all right, we'll get away with it. We did not get away with it.
And this is what frustrates me about Amorim, and I'm going to bring you guys in on this as well, because I wanted to move on to the wing-back thing. This is what frustrates me about Amorim. You don't have the wing-backs there, and I've got to hold my hands up, because I actually said in the countdown to kick-off I would have played Mazraoui there because of Ndiaye and Grealish and the threat that they have. And you've seen they bullied us multiple times throughout the game, but for me especially, when you go down to 10 men, make the change. Make the change. Bring Mazraoui off, put Ahmad right wing back, and bring Mason Mount on. 100%. Make the change, but he didn't have it in him to make the change in the first half. Yeah. And then he brings on Dallo for Dorgu, and Dorgu wasn't good at all. But again, he's not on his preferred foot. It's harder to get delivery into the box. He was basically useless on that left-hand side. Let's be honest. I mean, I know Dorgu wasn't good.
Dorgu was terrible.
You bring Dallo on, who's not in good form. It isn't on his preferred foot, when you could just go to a back four and play Luke Shaw, who is the best left-footed crosser in the team. Yeah. But you're so stubborn that you won't actually change to a back four. And Ricky, I'll bring you on this, because you were speaking to me a little bit, and you have a theory, not a theory, because we know Ruben Amorim does love his system and he's married to it, but you'd be a bit worried about us maybe going to a back four, right?
As fans, I'm sure it's the same at most clubs. I definitely not, because I know thousands of United fans, hundreds of United fans, overrate the players that are playing for you. And if you look at Everton's two centre-backs tonight, winning, and I know we've had backs against the wall performances, but Harry Maguire is important for us in backs against the wall performances, as is De Ligt. But everyone's raving about our centre-backs. They're not better than Everton's centre-backs. They're not better than Crystal Palace's centre-backs. I'm not even talking about the best. And I'm not going to say they're miles worse, but why are we raving about them? So here's the thing. Everton are only playing with two centre-backs. Now, I know our manager always plays with three centre-backs, so I can't level this at him. But most managers who play three centre-backs, it's usually because they don't think they've got two centre-backs who are good enough to do the job. Yeah. Put three in there, they feel like they've got a little bit more cover, obviously a little bit more strength. You've got three people, let's be honest, you've got three people doing the jobs that two men do for most teams, right? And one of ours is Luke Shaw, by the way, who's a full-back, really. And then we have Yoro and De Ligt usually, don't we? Sometimes Maguire if he's fit. But my point is this. I believe if Yoro and De Ligt were Everton's two centre-backs tonight, I think we'd have battered them. I think we'd have won about 4-1. The difference of how they play, how strong their centre-backs are. We're raving about our centre-backs, and I don't think they're even they might not be in the top 10 in the league. And where are we, by the way? 11th, are we now? Are we 10th or 11th?
No,
we love our own players. I get that. Fans are going to do that. Everton have caught us up, by the way.
We're 10th.
Yeah, we're 10th, but Everton have got the same amount.
Same points as Liverpool.
Yeah, so, we look, the players are not... I think we've been down this road for years. I've been telling you for years the players are not as good as what we think they are. I'm
going to bring in these super chats and I want to carry on that conversation. So I've got a question I want to ask you, but I want to involve the community who is watching. I mean, over 10,000 of you watching after a horrendous game on a Monday night. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for getting your comments in. Smash like on the video if you've not already. We really do appreciate you doing the therapy forum with us. Marlow United said, Bruno, the worst captain in United's history. A joke. Okay, he's very upset, but we will talk about Bruno for sure.
I want to say something about that. Go on.
Do you want to say it now?
Should I say it now, yeah?
Go on.
First half, and it was right across the field from where I was sat. You'll remember it. The keeper went to kick a ball out. So it was the first half, probably 20 minutes in. It comes to our keeper in his own box, and he tries to drill a pass low to somebody near the halfway line. And one of their players cut it out about 35 yards from our goal. And Bruno turned to the keeper and went like that, as if to say, launch it. And I thought to myself, I wanted to strangle him. Because if that pass, I know the pass doesn't reach its man, but if the pass reaches his man, he won't turn to the keeper and tell him to launch it. It's like no matter what you get wrong, Bruno will say, you should have done something else. Do you understand what I mean? Yeah. He got it wrong, but it's something they tried, and you can't just say you should have knocked that one long. Do you understand what I mean? Sometimes you're going to try a short pass or a long pass or a low pass, and sometimes you're going to knock it long. He's not going to knock it long. I know I've spoke about how good he is at knocking it long. He's not going to knock every ball long. And we're playing against 10 men with supposed to be space. Yeah. And he tells him, I don't mind him saying, if he was to say to him, take a touch there, you'll get a better pass off, or something a bit constructive. Yeah. But just to say, knock it long. What does he actually mean by that? Does he mean knock it long every time you get it? What's he saying to him? He wants to strangle him.
Well, you didn't want to strangle him, Ricky. You're not a violent man. Everyone knows that. Sorry. You wanted to have stern words with him.
Stern words with him.
Anthony Tracy says James Garner and McTominay could have been in our midfield. Would have done a better job. Robert McCormack says Barry won more aerial duels than anyone this season.
Who?
Barry, their centre forward, who, by the way, looked like he could bulldoze through our defence with about 2 touches. Abdul says Yoro, Ahmad ignored easy threaded passes to Mbumo. Yep. Beaver Santh says 4:30am in India, watching hoping we could win, but the players putting this performance against 10 men, pathetic and awful, still can't sleep. Hasha says the bad feeling is back, 1 point from the next 3 now. Kev United said Beth, please stop with the Bruno is still our best player. Keel Robinson says, as I said, Amorim is a chancer riding his luck. Grant Collins said nothing through the middle, too predictable playing to the sides, bench Bruno, start him out at 10, no predators in the box, missed the days of first time shots. Themselves Y says honestly this just hurts so much more because we thought we were actually onto something, but it's back to normal settings. I suppose it's embarrassing. David B 50113 says how have we got 2 unused subs against 10 men at home is baffling. New signings and Ahmad papering over the cracks this season. Rob McCormack says Kieran Dewsbury Hall was outstanding. Grealish is different class. Yeah, I agree with you, Robert.
Quality.
Grealish was absolutely ridiculous. EG4 says Beth was giving justification as to why starting 5 defenders should be the way against Everton. This fan base deserves Amorim. EG, I tell you one thing. I get it, and hindsight is 2020. But they had a man sent off in the 13th minute. I would not have kept 5 defenders on for the whole game. I wouldn't have done that. Yeah. I would have changed it when it goes down to 10 men. That's what I would have done, but you're entitled to your opinion, I suppose. Clinton Hughes says nobody cannot see that the manager is inept tonight. Tom Grant says every player should apologise, get used to this. Kawa said 2 defensive line-up to start off the game, winning second balls and simple passes, should be in training every day. Anthony Tracy says not a surprise, we're still a counter-attack team. Kev United says why can't Amorim see that Bruno is the problem, or is it because we don't have anyone to else he keeps playing him? Well, I think that could. I mean, Bruno was one of Bruno's biggest fans. He was super poor tonight. He should have been sub, but who would you have brought on for him? That's a question I mean we should talk about maybe. Orange Purple 7 says I have a conspiracy. All of this was scripted. No, it wasn't. Mr. McCreed says, well, wasn't that awful? And he threw in a swear word in there as well. Wasn't that effing awful? He says, and I feel you on that one. But with the. I mean, I want to continue talking about the wing-backs, but I'll come back to Bruno because he could have been sub tonight, and in my opinion, it would have benefited way more if he would have made the right subs player for player, but we'll get on to that. I want to continue on the wing-backs just while we're speaking it. We're going to speak a little bit about Amorim as well. I mean, people say the lineup was too defensive, and I hear that. But I mean, Everton just bullied us everywhere. They just looked more physical than us, stronger than us. It genuinely did look like men against boys at times. So I don't know what much. I don't honestly. Amorim just couldn't find a matchup. But I want to ask this about the wing backs because Hayden, my brother, sent me this, and I wanted to ask you guys this question. He said, one of our biggest issues is that our fullbacks are
Trash.
Crap. We'll say crap. Fullbacks are a bigger issue than midfield for us, in my opinion. Midfield is crap too, but fullbacks are the worst. I'd rather sign Munoz from Palace than Baleba. Thoughts on that? Do you think Munoz from Palace would be a better signing for United than Baleba?
I'll tell you what I do think. Out of Mazraoui, Dorgo and Dalot, Dalot's the best easily. I'll tell you what I do think.
Wing-back.
And without a doubt. Waste of time, Dorgo. Mazraoui, he's a centre-back. He's just too clunky.
Yeah.
So I know Dalot come on and he played on the left, like you said, and he's not left foot. Oh, did you see what happened, by the way? Literally the last 2 minutes, Dalot on the right and Shaw on the left. That's how it finished. If you watch it
For about a minute.
Literally. I mean, I know it's nothing, but what's the point? If he thinks, as I'm always saying, put Dalot on the right, even if he does it for 2 minutes, why did he do it for longer?
Yeah.
It's too stubborn.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why you should do it for longer? He's half right on the right. He's not left-footed, but then, Dorgu is left-footed, and that's the only reason why he gets in above him on the left. Dalot's a better player though, but he's right-footed. Get him on the right. Yeah. And I saw your message, Beth, as well about Ahmad on the left, but Ahmad was playing as a number 10 in the first half.
It wasn't working.
It wasn't working, but I'd like to see him play left wing-back. And Dalot right. Ahmad's left-footed. In the last 2 minutes, he goes with Dalot on the right and Shaw on the left. That's a right footer on the right and a left footer on the left. Why not try it for half a game? Dalot on the right and Ahmad on the left. Now then, Ahmad's crossing today not that they were all terrible crosses, but if that's the penalty area and there's the goals and they're defending across it, they're coming in like that. They're so easy to head away.
I agree.
We need to get crosses in like that instead of like that. And about 4 times it drifted over everybody and went out for a goal kick. We've got to stop. We've literally got to stop putting crosses in from this position just outside the box or near, a bit deeper with the left foot. We've got to try and get that arc on it, and Ahmad's left-footed. It's never going to happen.
It absolutely drives me around the bend when I'm watching players like Ahmad, who is brilliant out wide. When he's playing in a 4-3-3, he's a right winger going down the right wing. In the system, wing back, great at going down the wing. When he's got space in front of him, it drives me mad seeing him cornered in this pocket of space where he's not even on his best foot in that position. It really, really did my head in. If you are going to play him on the left, I would rather him out wide, like you said. And you have players like Mazraoui and Dorgu who have got their own strengths, but they're not good at crossing the ball in the best areas to consistently cross the ball, and then you have the best crosses in the team in areas where they're not in the best positions to cross the ball. It doesn't make sense.
Mazraoui in the first half, they must have put him into a dangerous position
Everton
4 or 5 times,
and
it wasn't even. It was just coming in dead low, straight to the first man.
Can't beat the first man. Constantly can't beat the first man.
And Everton just left him there.
Do you know what it is? Again, I'm saying some of our best attack in football has been through the link-up between Ahmad and Bruno.
Yep.
So when he's got space to run into, the overlap and whatnot. And what you're then missing by taking him out of a wing-back and putting him into the 10, like we're saying, it's the domino effect to the entire performance. And back to your question about what's priority. If I'm Amorim, I'm looking at my system that I believe in, that I'm willing to die for. I know how important wing-backs are. He needs to go and sign thoroughbred, out-and-out wing-backs that can actually deliver his system. Otherwise, he's going to lose his job.
Munoz would be class.
I feel like with this, and just like I said before, this kind of just all goes back to the same conversations we had back in the Grimsby, Burnley, them kind of times, Fulham days. How many of our players are we seeing in their best position? It's the same question we asked before. I'm genuinely.
That's actually a really good point.
It's the same thing. Every single conversation we're having right now is about players, good players, because Ahmad's a great player. I think Mbima was a great player. Who else we spoke about? We spoke about Bruno, we spoke about Mazraoui, we spoke about all these players, good players, but the the problem that we're constantly going on and on and on about is why they're playing in a particular position which is not favouring them. You said the same thing about Dallo. You think Dallo's obviously a good player, but your problem is the fact that he's
a
playing
decent player.
Decent.
I just think he's better than people say he is.
Yeah, he's better than people say he is, but he's just playing in the wrong position. And again, it just comes down to the manager. Let's just have an honest conversation. All these problems that we're having, it's not even to do with the players, and that's why I don't even, if I'm being honest, I don't even really want to complain too much about the players, because next week we'll be back saying that this guy had a great game and he's the top 10 defender in the league and he's this and he's that, because all of these players have the ability to play well. Every single one of them, they all have the ability to have a good game, and we've seen them all have numerous good games. I mean, obviously you said that Everton defenders are better than United defenders, which, it's a fair opinion.
There's nothing to choose.
There's nothing to choose from, but somebody could make a very strong argument to say that De Ligt is one of the best centre-backs in the league this season. You can make a strong argument that Yoro was sought after by Madrid. At one point last season, he was clear one of our best centre-backs last season. So we've seen him be able to...
That's your opinion.
My opinion, but a lot of people are saying it, though. It wasn't just like one or two people. A lot of people are saying that Yoro last season...
I always, you know what I'm like, I always have a proper good look at somebody, and the first few games I watched him play last season, I thought he's okay. That's all I thought.
That's fair enough. I'm not even trying to go against your opinion, but I'm saying in general, a lot of our players have the ability to play well. Yeah. So now we have to ask ourselves the question, why is the majority of them not playing well?
Can I bring something up about the centre-back? Sorry, Jordan. This thing about Yoro, there's a few people saying to me, why don't you rate Yoro? Look, we want to try to win the Premier League. We want to try to get into the Champions League and make a serious effort at winning the Champions League. Now, how old Yoro? Is he 19?
19.
He's a 19-year-old boy, and he's playing in the Premier League, and he's doing okay. That's a huge thing. That's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah.
He's doing really, really well. Yeah. So I'm not saying he's crap or anything like that, but that is also a long way short of being a player that can win the Premier League or the Champions League. But just by being able to play and do okay in the Premier League at 19 is a compliment. It's a compliment. The kid's a good footballer, but he's not Gabriel or Saliba. He's not Van Dijk. I know he's not having a great season. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not sure he ever will be, by the way. Them players are special players. Special players.
But is he expected to at 19? Because at 19 I was on the piss at Magaluf.
No, but what I'm saying, Jordan, is I'm not sure he ever will be. The things that he's got wrong with his game, he's only young, but he's not quite strong enough. The way that kid took the ball past him to score tonight was far too easy. It was far too easy.
I mean, with Yoro, I think he's got bags of ability, but I kind of understand Ricky's point in the fact that we're relying on players now that are for the future, and is our team now in every position capable to compete with the top teams that we want to be competing with? And you'd arguably say Mbeumo, yeah? Mbeumo is, without a doubt, in my opinion. Me and Ricky would disagree on this, but I think De Ligt is good enough. You would disagree. And then you search around the rest of the team and you're struggling. Bruno in the right position, in that position, no. You don't think De Ligt is good enough to get us European football, Champions League football?
Yeah, it could perhaps get us Champions League football, but we want the absolute creme de la creme. He isn't half the player Gabriel is. He isn't half the player Saliba is. Not
I think it's hard to say that,
bit by bit, we've got to get there. Bit by bit, we've got to get there. And at the minute, he's easily good enough to be in our team, and he has some good games, and he's strong, and he's brave. He puts his body on the line, and like I've just said, he's doing really well in the Premier League. He's doing well for us. We're still 11th, aren't we, or whatever we are, 10th, and that's not his fault. But it's not just him. We seem to think all of our players are good enough, or most of the players are good enough to get us into this position that we want to be in, and hardly any of them are.
I think back to what Maud said is, why are these players not playing in their best positions? And it does come back to the system, regardless whether people want to hear it or not. The manager's got one system, and he hasn't got the players to play the system he wants to play. So it is square pegs in round holes. He's looking at it going, well, this is how I'm going to play. I haven't got a player that is an out and out for that position, so I'm going to make this player do this job. And then they get exposed in certain games. And this is why some games we'll get away with it, and then other games we won't. And that's why one step forward, 2 steps back, and we're back to where we are again tonight.
I want to run a poll. Would you rather sign a world-class wing-back or a world-class midfielder right now? See what you guys say. A world-class wing-back, world-class midfield. I think I know which way it's going to tip, but they're both really huge issues for us right now. I mean, the amount of times we have the ball on the wide positions, and my friend who I sit with at United said to me, if we actually had half decent players in them positions, they'd have so many assists by now.
Yeah.
But it comes to them every time and the attack breaks down because they can't put a cross in the box. They can't put a cross in the box.
What I would say is
Can't
that
make the right decision.
Yes, we need both, but in terms of priorities, we've got players that can play at wing back. But when I look in central midfield, we're threadbare, like.
Yeah, I mean, get your votes in. We've got Carlo Montana saying more of half the team are not top 5 Prem players, more than half the team. That's actually at the end. I'm going to go around the starting 11 and I'll go each player by player. We'll play this game. Thank you very much, Carlo. And we'll say if you think that's good enough for a top 5 team. And we'll go through it. Kai says, Beth is right. Semenyo should be our top priority. I think we have to look at him in January, in my opinion. I don't think he should be our top priority, but I think for that release clause, you've got to look at adding someone else with real quality in the forward line. I mean, Amorim's come out and said that when you have more players with different characteristics, especially in Cunha or Benjamin Sesko, you have more options for scoring, particularly against low blocks.
The only thing I'd say
his players being injured, sorry mate.
No, the only thing I'd say with that, before I was saying to Moses, why is it that Sesko's not playing today and we've managed to put so many crosses in? Xerxes had 3 clear headers. Sesko can't get one.
I know.
Like, that's the only thing I would say about that. And again, I do feel we missed Cunha today, not necessarily him, but like I said,
his arrogance.
Yeah, and the fact that the knock-on effect that we then had to play Ahmad in the 10 when Ahmad would have played at wing-back, and I feel like it then would have offered us more going forward.
I also felt like we needed his like mentality, and I know people sometimes don't like this term, but his passion. He needed someone with a bit of something to show, someone with the bit between the teeth. Mount gave it a bit when he came on, but he was a bit too late. Yeah. He needed someone on there that actually looked like they wanted to go out there and win. But
is Mount fully fit? I thought Mount would have started today.
We said this.
Apparently he is, but
it doesn't seem to be in favour like he was.
Kai says we treated Ollie too harshly. Delon Nunes says this squad will expose every mistake a manager makes. Any change is a disaster. Start Dorgu, he's bad. Start Dallo, we want Dorgu. Mount, Mainu, no impact. I'll come back to the Mount and Mainu, no impact, because Mount, in my opinion, definitely made an impact, and actually I think some of his really good runs were ignored. I think players needed to get on his level, and Mainu is being asked to come on in a position what isn't his best position consistently, instead of just making the right substitution. So we'll get on to that. Marlow United says don't go in on the centre backs, all the pressure must be on the midfield. A new midfield in this team would be revitalised. Nick P says we've got someone flapping his hands about as a captain. He leads by example. That example is don't compose yourself. Be erratic, don't compose yourself. So really frustrated with Bruno there. And Keel Robinson says Amorim's system doesn't have the credentials to merit the amount of investment needed to make it work. Kai says those were some good headers from Xerxes. One of them was pretty good. Pickford was a really good save, but I think I was far away, but I felt like on one of them you should have glanced it more. I should have done better, but I'd have to re-watch it. I was far away in the stadium. My next question is, and we are going to talk a little bit about Bruno because I know people want to talk about him and the Mainu substitution as well. But do you think this fan base are too soft on the manager and on the players?
100%. Let me not say 100%, but I definitely think because of let me say, because of how difficult it's been the last, let's say, 12 years since Fergie's gone and how many managers we've had and the ups and downs, I feel like, first of all, with Amorim, there are a lot of people that don't want to accept that this might not be working. There's a lot of people that are on this, like, we just have to blindly have faith in the manager until we get relegated or something like that. I think that's what a lot of people's mentality is, because they don't want to go through the same process of sacking a manager, doing this and doing that, which I completely understand. Who wants to do that? Nobody wants to do that. So I do think there's a huge portion of the fan base that's just like, you know what, I don't really mind what's going on right now because I just want to have blind faith and hope that things are going to get better in the future. And I do think the same way on the players as well, that like there's certain players that I just think like I think Bruno Fernandes is one of the ones where it's like 50-50. I'm sure you're the poll right now. Do you want Bruno to be here next season? It'll be like 50% say yes, 50% say no, because everyone's so just like they either love him, like he's the guy for you. He has to play for United, or Bruno needs to go. Bruno is a problem in his team. Bruno is whatever. And we see it all the time. Even on the forum, it's still split. Like half of us are like we love Bruno, half of us kind of don't want him to be in the team. So yeah, I do think definitely there is a lot of people that are a little bit. I'm gonna say too soft, because naturally it's just being a United fan. As a fan of the club, you're gonna support players, managers, wherever it is. But I think there's a big split in terms of certain players.
Because I just think to myself, patience is something that's thrown around a lot, but I do think we do overhype some of our players. Some of them are genuinely very good and are playing with players that I don't think are on their level. And with Amorim, it's really difficult because I want to believe so much. I really want him to do well, but I just keep getting given signs that I just don't know if the system can consistently work. I'm really going to be honest. I just don't know. I mean, I'm just looking at these stats. I know some of it's from last season, but Man United's managers and head coaches compared first 54 matches. Ten Hag with 36, 66.7% win rate at the top. Ruben Amorim with 21, 38.9% win rate. 66.7 for Ten Hag, 38.9% for Amorim. And I'm not saying Ten Hag was the right guy, because he wasn't, but it's just like Sir Alex Ferguson is after Amorim, but he's still on 46.3%, Ollie on 50%. And then just in terms of being able to affect the game perspective, Man United under Amorim have only won 2 games when losing at half-time. Man City 2-1 away and Southampton 3-1 at home. 2 games when losing at half-time. That's, to me, that's
under Amorim.
Under Amorim.
It's a bit of a false stat. That
really, because that gives to me that the manager can't affect the game.
First of all, what you've got to find out is how many times we've been behind at half-time. Do you know what I mean? You might not be. You might only have been behind at half time. I don't know, 10.
Really? Yeah. I think it's probably more than that.
I don't know.
Based on the last year.
I don't know. How many times have we lost? We won't be losing at half time in every game. A lot of the winning goals are in the second half, aren't they? So some of them stats that people put out there, and it sounds like, wow, that's absolutely crazy. But if you're not behind often enough at half time, you're not going to come back to win very often, are you? Do you know?
I just look at it, and I know we keep going on about this system, and we say the system's flawed, but it is definitely flawed against 10 men if you're not going to take a defender off. Because you can't keep hold of the ball. Like, I don't know why he didn't make the changes. And saying that it was too defensive, the lineup. The lineup was fine to start with, but as soon as you go down to 10 men, then you've got to make a change. Like,
it doesn't even have to be a substitution.
No,
it can just be a change internal.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. But it should have been a substitution. Ahmad should have went into wing back. You could have put Bruno further forward if you wanted to.
The only thing is, because it was so early, I think making a substitution after 10 minutes because of the opposition team, I think that's a bit too, reactive. After 10 minutes?
Not after 10 minutes. I would have done it in the first half, though. And I'm not even just saying this, I said it in the game. I would have. It was so obvious after about 10 minutes, maybe even less, but after the Idrissa Gueye got sent off, it was so obvious we needed to move Ahmad back to wing back.
Yeah.
And bring in another player who could actually play football like Mason Mount or Kobbie Mainoo. But this is what I personally would have put Mainoo or Mount in the 10. I wouldn't bring Mainoo on in a centre defensive midfield position, which isn't his best position, because what he keeps doing, Amorim, which is really frustrating me, it's very, very rare that he subs off Bruno for Mainoo. Very rare. But today, he subbed off Casemiro for Mainoo. Mainoo then has to be... I mean, I know we're playing against 10 men, but like we said, it didn't look like we're playing against 10 men. Mainoo then has to try and hold a midfield where Bruno is everywhere, and he doesn't get to express himself and play his best football. It frustrates me.
Which massively contradicts what Amorim said, because he said that he was competing with Bruno for a position. So naturally, you would have thought Bruno would come off for Mainoo. So
he'd been carded, hadn't he, Casemiro? When we've been there before, haven't we? I thought he might take him off sooner me after he got carded.
Yeah, he could have. And I know a lot of people don't rate Ugarte, so it is a bit of a hindsight. Oh, he could have done this. Well, yeah, you can easily say that sat here. You're not on the touchline. Would you have done it? I don't know if I actually probably would, because Ugarte's not been great recently. But he could have just taken them both off for Ugarte and Mainu and give them a chance. Would it have been any worse? Would it? Would it genuinely have been any worse?
Unlikely.
Because Bruno and Casemiro, not just them two, but the whole team was so poor. Would it have been any worse to give Mainu and Ugarte a go?
Can we just have a couple of minutes
Probably
on Bruno's
not.
performance today?
We will. I'm going to go to Super Chats first, then get another poll going. So, with the Super Chats, Kai says Bruno is the best 10 in the world. Paul B says 3 at the back has a 0.5% trophy success rate across the top 5 leagues over the last 40 years. Most of those trophies are down to Conte. Quick one.
That's crazy. That's an
What was that?
If this is actually a true stat, who knows? I can't fact check
Someone
it.
fact check that.
Paul B says 3 at the back has a 0.5% trophy success rate over the top 5 leagues over the last 40 years. Where have you found that?
It's probably about right, that.
Most of these trophies are down to Conte.
City and Liverpool have won loads of trophies. They play with 2 centre-backs, don't they?
Yeah, most of these trophies are down to Conte, he says. And this is a quick fire question. We will speak about Bruno. Get your votes on the poll because I'm ending that and starting another one in a second. It's in the community. Wing back or midfielder. Do you think this system can be successful consistently? Yes or no answer?
Oh, we've gone round. Consistently. I don't know. I'm going to say...
Right now, you
no.
can change your mind in the future.
I'm going to say no.
Jordan?
No, and Amorim long term won't be successful. He's a dead man walking.
First.
Ricky?
I would say no, and I mean, the main thing we're talking about here to me is 3 centre-backs, because then everything else falls into place. But it depends on how good your players are. I mean, I'm sure, like, Conte's had some great players playing at centre-back for him. If our 3 centre-backs were Gabriel, Saliba and Luke Shaw, we'd probably be 4th in the league. It's about how good your players are, isn't it, at the end of the day?
It is. Yeah. Do you not feel that the wing backs are just as important?
They're not more important. You're keeping a clean sheet and having 2 or 3 good centre backs and a top keeper. They're the most important players on the pitch. But obviously, you need good players everywhere, but you getting that right is vital, and that's why Arsenal are doing. That's one of the main reasons that Arsenal are doing so well. They hardly let any goals in.
Yep.
If you don't let any goals in, you only got to nick one.
I think another manager would come in with the squad we've got. I don't think the squad is as bad as our league position suggests, and I think another manager would come in, change the formation, and straight away we would get not just a manager bounce, but we would get a lot more out of the players that we've got.
If you change the formation, I take it you mean 4 at the back.
Yeah.
If you was doing that, Jordan, who would your 2 centre-backs be regularly out of what we've got at the minute?
Martinez, if he could stay fit. Martinez, Delit, I'd say.
Yeah. Not bad effort, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Yoro's ready. I think he's come from a soft league and needs to grow into the Premier League. I don't think he's going to be the finished article now at 19, but I see the potential of where he can go. I think Delit's great. I really like Delit. He's my kind of centre back, and I think what Martinez can offer when fit, they would probably complement each other.
Martinez was on the bench today, wasn't he?
My issue is that Amorim is so stubborn in his system that he can't adjust it to enhance our chances of winning games.
Yeah.
And it's like, right now, where I'm at is it's showing me it's inconsistent, and really we can only play against one type of team and get good results, and it's a team that comes at us. We're not convincing in our performances. However, I don't necessarily think it's because of the formation. The formation is frustrating, and it would not be my ideal formation. I think Ricky's onto something when he says, the squad doesn't suit it. I don't think the squad suits it. But with Amorim now, you're in a position where, do you keep pouring money into his system, go for the wing backs, go for the physical midfielders that can play up and down the pitch in that 2-man midfield? And we don't really play with many wingers. The only 2 wingers we have in our squad are Ahmad and Mbeumo. 2 wings in the whole squad is light. Do you keep going down that Amorim route, the number 10s, etc., or do you change it and then change everything we've started investing into? And I'm not saying Amorim's getting the sack or he's going or anything like that, but if it keeps being to and from, you've got to make a decision of, are we fully committing and investing into this, and could potentially end up with a squad that is just completely reliant on playing in a back five or a 3-4-3, whatever you want to call it, a back three, back five, depends which day it is, or do you try and make a bit of a broader squad but don't fully commit to a system, which means maybe you can't get the best out of it? It's really tough, because do you go all in on Amorim and hope for the best, but it might not work out, or do you not, and then he's got the argument of, well, I've not been given the players to do it?
Yeah, but, sorry, I'm going to say, my thing with that is, like, I don't think there's any such thing of going after a 3-4-3 player. Like, I feel like every player you go after probably grew up playing I say normal, but 4-3-3 or 4-4-2 formation. Every kind of player who most players across Europe, especially the top players anyway, they're probably going to come from a team that even plays 4-3-3 anyway. So for me, if you're going to go after a player to fit this formation, you're only going after their attributes. You're not going after the formation they're playing. So I don't think there's any such thing as, like, I don't think Amorim can say, oh, you went and signed a player that wasn't a 3-4-3 formation. That doesn't even make sense, because when Bruno didn't play 3-4-3, you know what I mean? He's one of our better players. Ahmad didn't grow up playing 3-4-3. He's been one of our better players, and you know, you can say the same about Mount. He didn't grow up playing. He didn't, spend his whole career playing this formation. So it's not necessarily about buying into the system. It's just about buying into quality. I think if you just buy into good players, regardless of what position they played in, they could have been a fullback, they could have been a winger, they could be an 8, 6, 10, whatever it is. If they're a quality player, then you'll be able to find attributes that they can play in different positions. However, the main conversation is back to what I said before: are you getting the best out of the kind of player that you're bringing in? If we go and get I don't know, let's say we go and get a winger, a really good winger or a really good fullback, and we're going to put them as a wing back and we're only getting 50% out of the player that we've signed. It's like, well, what's the point in doing that? If we're going to go and buy a player whose natural position is a winger or a fullback, and we're going to go and put him into a different position and expect him to just replicate what everything he's been able to do.
What I would add to that is, it doesn't matter what you sign, what players you sign. Ultimately, the manager has to have a level of in-game management to make changes, because there are unforeseen things that happened, like today, where you suddenly go up against 10 players rather than 11, and he did not adapt during that game. So ultimately, he's going to end up sacking himself, because that can't carry on what happened today.
Well,
on the wing backs, can I just bring this in? I'd like us to have some imagination and try and find some bargains, rather than, you've named Moon. Everybody knows who he is. He plays for Palace. He probably cost a fortune. Look who Liverpool signed in the summer: Frimpong and Kirkes. Don't know how much they both were, but they're both really well-known players and really sought-after players. It's not going well for them. It's not going well for them, is it?
They're not playing at back five, though, to be fair.
I mean, Frimpong's injured, to be fair, but I did watch a game he played in. He didn't look up so much to me. And Kirkes, they keep taking him off for Robertson. They're better when Robertson plays. It's just by buying a player who you like, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you.
Yeah.
But I think it's more likely to work if you put them in their position that you bought them in. That's my whole thing. You're going to go buy Kirkes. You're going to go buy Frimpong, and you're not playing as a wing back, and you expect him to play as well as he was as a wing back. Yes, you can obviously say he should do better, obviously, but you kind of got to look at him and think, well, he didn't play this position last season in his best season. What do you expect him to do now?
Which will be the argument for Bruno.
Well, we're going to go up one to Bruno now.
Kirkes especially, he's left-sided. Any United fan would have bit your hand off for Kirkes. Would have bit your hand off.
True. Very, very good insight there from Ricky. Who would you sign, wing back or midfielder? World-class wing back or world-class midfielder? 81% midfielder. So I think I would just agree with that, to be honest. But wing back is really needed. But if you ask me Elliot Anderson instead of Belieber, I'd go with Elliot Anderson. Elliot Anderson should be top of our list, regardless. What poll would you like on Bruno, Jordan, for the last 5 minutes?
I don't need a poll on Bruno. I just want to talk about him. I don't need the poll. I've seen enough today.
Paul, would you like him to be in our starting 11 this time next year? We'll do that. Jason Garbett says should have signed Anthony Robertson. Vincent Weasley says Amorim starting to remind me of Albert Steptoe. Slow Sports News says nice to see you guys. This is what happens when you have an international break. Half our squad is tired. Apart from Pickford, Everton were fresh. Interesting take, but I still don't think the freshness is enough to convince me, to be honest with you. But thank you very much for stopping by the studio as well. Really do appreciate it, and always good to see you. Jason Hanna says the fact Amorim can't get the best out of Kobbie Mainoo is a big red flag. Paul B says, why do you accept the club has wasted billions on signing 10 to 15 poor players and refuse to accept that same club could have appointed 3 bad managers in a row, new players, but still blame them? Keel Robinson says, Beth, it's not worth the investment into the system, I'm assuming. And Shaheen says, maybe the system could be successful if we were more rigid. It's too fluid, it's all over the place. Every player is asked to do 2 jobs on the pitch. Thank you everyone for your super chats coming in. Jordan, the floor is yours.
So he was Bruno, we're talking about, yeah. He was really poor today. And what frustrates me is, as a captain, you should be a leader of men. He makes mistakes, costs other players yellow cards, and rather than put his hands up and take responsibility, he starts screaming at the ref and whatnot, and he's just not a leader in those moments. And I look at him and, you know, we've been told that he's not happy playing in midfield. And we were talking about players, that why are we not getting the best out of them? Why are we playing him into positions that they're not comfortable with? That is exactly what we've done with Bruno. We're making him play somewhere where he hasn't ever played for us and hasn't produced good football for us. But then we get frustrated with him when he isn't producing in that position. But it requires someone to be really disciplined there. And we talk about the centre-backs and the pressure that's on the centre-backs. And for me, the next line of defence should be the midfield. But the ball just seems to keep coming back to them because we can't hold on to the ball in midfield. And part of the reason is Bruno. So before anything else, we should be signing a central midfielder. And I remember, again, the last time I was up was Arsenal. Before the season started, we did the countdown to kick it off, and I said to you guys about going out and spending the money we spent on 2 number 10s. For me, we should have addressed the midfield because it was glaringly obvious. And this was before we thought that Casemiro would have any form of new lease of life. It was glaringly obvious we were going to struggle in the centre of our midfield. You could clearly see he didn't fancy Manu, and we didn't address that situation. So it's going to be a long season until we go out and fix that. And to be honest, we haven't addressed the central midfield for years and years. I remember my demo tape to come on, and we talked about central midfielders then. Like, that was 4 years ago, or however long. Like, we've got to go out and address it. There's midfielders that are available. I think last summer window was the window of the striker. I think this window will be the window of the central midfielders. We need to be competitive and we need to go and fix the issue, but it can't carry on with Bruno. He doesn't look happy. He doesn't look happy in that position. He doesn't really look overly happy at the club anymore, and his head just seems to have dropped. And as a captain, that has a massive knock-on effect to everyone around you.
Interesting stuff. I mean, Anthony Tracy says dominant possession team or Maverick Bruno, choose. And I think that's maybe a way to kind of sum it up. Can Bruno work in a team that is dominating possession, which is what a lot of people want? I mean, it wasn't just Bruno today, but as a captain, obviously he's held to a higher standard, and I do think he was really poor today. Against physical midfields like that, he struggles, and Amorim just won't take him off, even if he's having a poor game. And you could see he was like losing his head. Like, you could really see it, being very erratic. And the manager should have some sort of control on that.
So one other thing on it is, you know, we've been battling back and forth with the Bruno doers, Bruno don't-ers, where they're like, oh, you know, he's so important, and there's like, yeah, but he's too erratic, he loses the ball, this, that. I'm sat next to someone that has highlighted for years that, you know, his flaws, but it was always disguised by the GA that he was offering. And I remember sitting down saying, apart from goals and assists, what else is he offering when he's not doing that? And now we haven't got those goals and assists, so we're left with a player that isn't giving as much to the team as he needs to, especially as captain.
Well, that's the Bruno debate. Does anyone want to chip in, or can I move on to the last segment of the show?
Move on, pal.
No, let me just get 1 minute from Ricky on Bruno's performance today.
It was poor, obviously, and it was frustrating. I can't wait to watch it back again, but in the last couple of minutes I saw an incident where, this is what I think I saw, he got the ball and he tried to pass it to someone. It went straight to an Everton player, but happened to bounce back to him. And then he tried another pass, and that almost got cut out. It should have got cut out, but Ahmad was dead sharp coming in from the wing and got in front of the player that it was going to. So Ahmad really, without them ever getting it, he sort of won it back, if you understand what I mean. So although that'll go down as a completed pass, but you know, to me it was just like 2 poor passes in a few seconds. Yeah. You know, I want to watch it back again, but there was just loads of stuff like that.
The poll is running. You can vote on it till the end. I said I would do this earlier in the show, and I do want to do it, so it's going to be quick fire because we are running out of time. But I'm going to go through Manchester United's 11. It's a simple yes or no. We'll go around the panel. Are they good enough to be part of a top 5 side in the Premier League?
Just to clarify, what's top 5? Is it top 5 right
Top
now?
five.
Top 5 in general?
Like Champions League.
No, the team.
To get us into a Champions League.
To get us into a Champions League team.
Okay.
To get in, would they be able to get into a Champions League, Premier League side? Okay.
Go.
Senny Larmans.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he could as well. Lenny Yoro.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Starting.
Yeah.
We're talking about starting here.
I think
by
he can
the
start
way.
for Chelsea.
But they might not finish in the top 5 yet. We're
Second
not saying
right now.
that. But we're talking about getting there. I don't think so.
I think in the future, yes. Currently, probably not. De Ligt.
Yeah.
Yes, for me.
I'd say no.
You'd say no on De Ligt.
Going to start for.
You're not going to get European football with De Ligt. I'm really surprised.
Come on, you would, Rick.
So you don't think you can get into like Newcastle?
De Ligt's been one of the best centre-backs in the league this season.
He's nowhere near as good as Newcastle's 2 centre-backs, Shard and Botman. Not in the
he-
same league.
I think
They're
he's had a better
footballers.
season. I think he's had a better season than him. I think it's a better season than Chelsea centre backs. He had a better season than Liverpool centre backs. I think you can. Yeah.
Liverpool at 11th.
Yeah, we're talking about Champions League teams though. Teams that play in the Champions League, like they're still playing.
Look, for me, I think De Ligt is all right when not all right. He's good when we're under pressure, like we were at Anfield, and he's winning all his headers and winning all his tackles. His passing's not quite good enough. He's not smart enough. That's why Juventus didn't really want to keep him. I think it's why Bayern Munich didn't really want to keep him. And I think you'll find whoever at the minute, by the way, he's as good as what we've got. Don't get me wrong. So what I was about to say, I think you'll find when we get a new manager, he'll be looking for a new centre back. But maybe this manager doesn't. We don't know for sure that this manager rates him highly. It's just the best we've got, like I've said about other players.
Well, we'll move on.
It's just the best we've got.
We'll move on.
Fair enough.
Can agree to disagree. Luke Shaw.
Yes.
Yes for me.
Yeah.
Mazraoui.
No.
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 Not in that position.
Not right now. He probably was when we first got him.
Yeah, he's declined, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he's declined.
Injuries hindered him. Casemiro.
Probably not.
No.
I don't know, you know. I think
He's been a great player.
He can only play 60 minutes.
I think yeah.
60 minutes.
I think he could start.
He used to pick up yellow
Do you
cards.
think
No,
Aston
I'm
Villa
lying.
are going to get
I don't
top
think he can
5?
actually. I'm lying. I don't
Could
think
do.
Do you think Aston Villa will get top 5?
They could do.
tough.
They've got Kamara and Anana.
Both.
They're both absolutely fantastic.
Both taken over Casemiro. Yeah, you may be right.
No, I think about it. If you
You're
look
right.
at Chelsea with Caicedo and
I'm thinking about his history.
and
that's just Aston Villa.
I'm thinking
Bruno
about his history.
Gamera at Newcastle, City have got Rodri. He's not.
It's a no.
Okay.
No.
Bruno Fernandes.
No.
You don't think he'd start in a top 5 side? Not in this position.
No, that's.
Not in this position.
He's starting.
In a 4-3-3, I think he does.
Yeah, but we're talking about our team now.
I'm talking about a top 5 Champions League team.
He's talking. What we're saying.
At central midfield.
In a
No.
4-3-3.
I think no.
I think he does in a 4-3-3. Not in this formation, but in a 4-3-3. I think he does.
I say no. Anyway,
I say yeah,
go
anyway.
on.
Okay. Patrick Dorgu.
No.
No.
No. Brian Mbumo.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ahmad.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. It's got a bit
Josh-
of form tonight, Ahmad, but yeah, in general, yeah.
Joshua Zirkzee.
No.
No. I thought he was going to do something tonight, but he was poor. Poor. Get your hopes up, don't you guys? Anyway, that's what we've said, guys. What do you think?
But how many was yes?
How many got a partial yes?
Okay, so I'll go for it.
Go on,
Larman's got a yes.
Yeah.
I think Euro got half, 50%. De Ligt got a yes. Shaw got a yes. Mazraoui got a no. Casemiro got a no. Bruno got half and half. And Mbumo and Ahmad, so 7 out of 11 got,
So the majority of our
got either
players
yes or no.
can play for a Champions League team.
Sorry?
And so the majority of our players today in an injured team as well. If you're getting, we had Martinez that could have played. We had Cunha was injured. We've had
Here's one for
Sesko
you.
injured, and it's a bad team.
Here's one for you. Both of our wing backs got a no.
Yeah, but
Both of them.
I think Maud's has just said that, well, we've got 7 players who we think would get... That's you lot overrating our players, that's all that is.
No, but that's a general opinion, though. Like, it's a general opinion. I think the 50-50s, you put it into a poll, it would still be 50-50. And like I said, there's still about 3 players that are injured. Xerxes not even our main striker, you know what I mean? So there are still a bunch of players that we could have put in that team. So if the majority of our team can play for a Champions League team, but everyone's playing bad, now you've got to start asking questions. Why is everyone playing bad?
Well,
I've just mentioned Kamara and Onana. Onana was injured yesterday. I watched Villa and Leeds yesterday. When you talk about... They might not get Champions League. Would the Lit get in front of Konza or Pau Torres?
Yeah.
You're joking.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah.
You're absolutely joking.
I like Konza. I think Konza's amazing.
I think in front of Pau, yeah.
No chance. He's a Rolls Royce of a player.
Konza and Lit.
Yeah.
He's a Rolls Royce of a player.
Well, we've got to wwrap up.
Okay.
Jason Hanna says, you lot are delusional about Shaw. He's been crap for years. Well, we have a different opinion to you. Welcome to the world of planet Earth. Rob McCormack, Mount Defo had an impact on the game. I agree. Kai says Conte's 3-4-3 is an exception since he had Kante. Pretty fair. Anyway, guys, that's it. Smash a like on the video if you've not already. Quick fire. Do United get a win away at Selhurst on Sunday?
Of course.
No.
Can't see it.
I'll be the only one to say yes. Go on.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us and getting involved in the fans forum. I already feel a little bit more relaxed. I feel like we've done some therapy. Still really, really gutted. Still frustrated, but it's Man United. You can't help who you support, can you? It's what it is. But we'll be back throughout the week with many more news shows speaking about all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news. Thank you, everybody involved in Match Day, Monday Night Football. Thank you, Jordan, for travelling and joining us.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, you need to get up your winning rate in this studio.
No, back-to-back slaps in the studio. Yeah.
Moz, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Ricky as well, thank you. And everyone behind the scenes who makes everything happen, thank you. Thanks everyone for watching, and we will see you on the next one.